All right, we are live for the full moon eclipse activation. Cool. We're set up and ready to rock and roll. So I just want to know, before we dive in, I want to make sure that you can see me and hear me. Okay, we did have some technical difficulties a couple of weeks ago. We seemed to be okay last week. So just let me know in the comments that you can hear me and see me all right, and then we can begin. And as usual, I'm just going to begin to shuffle. Shuffle the energy up. Please let me know in the comments that you can hear me and see me. Yay! Awesome. How's everybody feeling? Let me know in the comments where in the world you're tuning in from. I'm tuning in from the lovely Sedona, Arizona. I usually am tuning in from here for the most part. And remember what the deck represents, you guys. The deck represents the whole. So each card represents a different part of that whole. So you can see this as yourself, the whole you, and each card represents a different aspect of you. You can also see the deck as the whole you, meaning the one you of which we are all a part, and each card represents a different part of our collective consciousness. So when we shuffle it, we're touching all of them. We're saying hello to all the parts, waking them up. We're lighting up the whole brain, all the neural pathways. And you kind of just want to do it until you feel like you're complete. Maybe you need to touch all of them 2 times. Maybe you need to touch all of them 17 times. I don't care. I don't know. But it's your intuition that makes it right. You have to feel it. You got to believe it to receive it. You know what I'm saying? Yay. UK, Washington, Texas, everybody in the house. Sweet. Sweet. Let us know in the comments where you're tuning in from. And remember, as we're tuning in from all these different parts of the world, we're just lighting up the grid right now with our conscious awareness. And feel free to share this video now while we're live with friends, family, somebody who could use an inspirational message right now. Or maybe you have a favorite Facebook group you want to share it with while we're live to get everybody in the portal. Of course, you can always feel free to share the recording afterward. It'll be here on Facebook. It'll also be on YouTube and Instagram, Rebecca Magic. Yay, look at everybody tuning in from all over. So awesome. Cape Cod, UK, Canada, Mexico. Sweet. So remember, full moon is the time of the revelation, okay? It's the time of illumination. What is being highlighted right now? What are we being shown? We're coming to the point of the cycle, part 3 of a 4-part cycle. Remember, full moon is not the end, okay? Final quarter is when we wrap things up and prepare for the new moon, new cycle. But the full moon is like the pinnacle. It's like this time where we're really realizing and seeing just what's been going on these past few weeks, okay? So that's what we're focused on. The full moon activation is about how can I best take in this vision? How can I best receive this vision? It's not about integrating. We still have time for that. That's the final quarter. The full moon is simply about asking for a map that the tarot cards give us for how can we best navigate this part of the process? How can we best open up our eyes and our inner vision to see and receive the fullness of what's being illuminated right now? Just to see it, because it takes time to take in all of those details of the vision. And then next week we can fully integrate it. So if we try to integrate too soon, we can't fully see, right? It's like when you're doing active integration, you might miss some things that are still being revealed or shown to you. So the full moon is really just about being present with that part of the process. What is being revealed? And now I'm just going to take out my treasure box. The Hebrew cards. And remember, they look like this. And they work the same way. Each card represents a different aspect of self or a different archetypal wisdom. So we're just shuffling them up. And you might feel inspired when you're shuffling. I know a lot of you are into doing your own tarot. You might be inspired to, you know, I got to move this one card to this particular part of the deck. Don't question it, just do it. That's how you affirm your intuition. And for those of you who are here for the first time, welcome to the activation portal. We do this every week, and we've been doing it for years. So welcome to the family, and feel free to join us again next week if you like what you experience here today. Beginning with the tarot, we're giving thanks in advance for the message that's about to come through. Giving thanks to the archetypes, faces of the one, which includes all of us. So thank one for this message that's about to come through. What is the point of focus, aka the challenge and gift, at this part of the cycle, at the time of this eclipse full moon? How can we best open up our vision to fully receive what we're being shown right now? And why are we doing this? Give us a little glimpse of what's ahead as far as the universal theme, right? Because the details aren't written. We write those with each choice that we make in thought, speech, and action, collectively and individually. But what is a hint of what's to come? A symbol or an archetype that will represent the pattern that we're inevitably stepping into. That way we can put together the focus right now, the first card that we pulled, put that together with the future, where we can best navigate this time to prepare for stepping into whatever that theme is to come. Then with the Hebrew letters, we'll pull the ally of the week. They're all our allies. However, when we pull one, it gives us the primary focus. The primary ally. And we can always stay open to all of them, but when we get that primary focus, it just puts our conscious awareness on that particular one so that we can open up to the strongest ally force for this particular time, tailor fit for this particular time. Okay. Beginning with the focus, also known as the challenge and gift. I'm laughing right now. I know someone who's watching this and is laughing with me because we just did a reading and this card came up twice right before we started this activation. So 3 of Cups is the primary focus right now. It's the challenge right now. And this is a collective reading, right? So let's stay focused on that, on our intention to read for the collective. If this is the challenge and gift, or the focus at the time of this full moon eclipse, what are we being shown? We want to look at the ways in which we've either been open or closed to relationships of all kinds. Of all kinds. Have you been opening your heart or closing your heart? Has there been any hidden or subconscious resistance to making new connections or deepening already present ones? 3 of Cups is all about connecting with others from the heart. It's about, you see how they're lifting their cups? Yeah, some of you are asking. It was in last week's as well. So we're still here, but we're shifting the focus, right? Because we're at a different part of the cycle now. So we're seeing how the energy is evolving. So they're lifting the cups. They're saying cheers. What are they doing in their lives that is worth that cheers? Is it even an authentic cheers? Is it even an authentic celebration and blessing? How can we make sure that what we are doing, what we're thinking, what we're saying, what we're doing is creating an optimal situation for everyone? Not just the small self, but for all of us. Can we really feel good about the choices we've been making in thought, speech, and action? Or how can we take it up a notch? How can we refine this process? How can we bring more authentic light into our mind, into our physical reality? How can you bring that light into your thoughts, transforming them, thus transforming your words, thus leading to transformed actions and behaviors? So what we want to do right now is make sure that we're looking at whatever programs we might have, even deep within the subconscious mind, that are keeping us from sharing our truest light, our most authentic light, which means looking at those programs that are also keeping us from having our heart open or our minds open, remembering that the heart and mind are really one and that the separation is an illusion. So how have we been closed up? How have we kept our minds and hearts closed? And the big thing that pops up in my mind's eye is protection. We've been protecting ourselves in a way that is unnecessary. Out of fear. Because it's always out of fear. When we feel we need to protect ourselves, it's just out of fear. It's out of forgetfulness of our faith. Fear versus faith. When we feel we need to protect, we forget that the truth protects itself. So why are we being overprotective? How have we maybe developed these programs long ago, maybe beyond this life, beyond this body? And the only way to really shift that is to not try to find and overanalyze all the ways in which we have limited ourselves, but instead to just focus on opening. Whatever, it doesn't matter where it came from. We all have it. We're all experiencing it. We're all a part of this collective consciousness. So rather than trying to analyze it, from where did it come? From when did it come? Many places, many times, many timelines that we've cultivated this aspect within our consciousness. But those times are not as important as being present is right here, right now. Being present and just work on opening the heart. However closed it's been, we need to feel equally as open now. We need to neutralize the effect of whatever those programs have been. Okay, so those programs have been keeping us closed. Don't waste your time trying to analyze where it came from, because it came from many different things. Remember, this is about the collective. It's not just about your own personal experience. We have collectively cultivated this fear. And it's okay. It's perfect, actually. The fear is not even real. The fear dies when we die. It's just to show us something. So we have been collectively cultivating this fear so that we can hear now in this moment of revelation at the time of this full moon eclipse, see together as one, begin to see together as one where this fear has been controlling our lives or has been limiting us, and begin to instead open up our hearts. Okay, so you might want to ask yourself, where have I expected less from myself or from others, right? Because we were saying we want to have something worth that cheers. We want to have something worth celebrating, right? But if we've been subconsciously expecting less from ourselves and from one another, we're never going to meet that truly worthy goal of a cheers, of a celebration. So instead, I want to say expect the best, but what is the best? Let's really ask ourselves that. What is the best that we should expect? The best that we could possibly expect is what already is. We have to be grateful for what's here now. We have to trust that right here, right now, this moment is the best. And no matter what it looks like on the outside, no matter how others are representing the frequency of now, it's their best representation of that frequency. We're all just meeting each other where we're at. That's all we can do. And so we've got to trust that that's the best. This is the divine plan unfolding before me. The more I focus on how this person isn't able to meet me in this way, or that person isn't matching my energy in this way, the more we're just seeing lack and we're not being grateful for things as they are. As they are. And so then subconsciously we create these expectations and we start expecting more of that. We start expecting more of being met by those who can't meet us in this way or that way. And we start getting all confused by these expectations. But instead, if we could see the best in ourselves and one another, and we can expect the best, which is really what is. So it's not even expecting the best, it's allowing the best. It's receiving what is here now and being grateful for that. Then we can really start to shift things. Okay, so also just seeing how this is connected to last week, what we're seeing here is now is really the time, at the time of this full moon, right? Like last week we were just a little bit into the process. Now we're fully into the process and we're being asked to really, you guys, come on, let's look at the ways in which we've been forgetting that the relationships, the love, the feelings of gratitude that we have for each other are the most important things to be focusing on right now. So how, from last week until now, or how lately, have you been allowing that? Have you been letting go of the stress of the little things to give thanks for the big things, which is the love in your life, the love between one another, saying things, thinking things, doing things that are promoting the ability to do that are allowing you the space to be able to appreciate one another. For example, if you're stressing out the little things, you might start to develop resentment or hate for somebody when it's not even their fault, or it doesn't even really matter, and it's not even real, and all that's going to die with your body anyway. Instead, we want to create, we want to invoke certain thoughts, we want to say certain words, we want to do things that are going to allow more love into our hearts. And allow our minds to expand, not the opposite, not make our minds contract and become narrow and ignorant. Love heals, love expands. Fear contracts and makes us ignorant. So how are we designing our thoughts? How are we choosing our words and our actions in ways that are going to promote love between one another and service to one another? We're here to care for one another. If we really want to look like this and be celebrating with each other, we have to make sure we're all taken care of, that we're all taking care of each other, that not a one of us has thoughts or are speaking words that are going to harm another, because we are one. We are one. So if there have been ways that you have been pushing yourself away from others, especially over stupid fights, stupid things that don't actually matter, it's time to really move past that. It's time to remember what is the most important, which is connecting with others from the heart. Woo! And what we're moving toward is the Two of Cups. So we had the Three of Cups, now the Two of Cups, okay? And this is really the card of like one-on-one relationships, but even before it becomes that, because that's just a reflection of the deeper meaning of this card, it is first regarding your own inner relationship, your relationship with yourself, the relationship between your own polarities, the relationship between your logic and intuition. How do they play? Do you nurture them both? You will notice that theme throughout the tarot. You'll see it particularly obviously laid out in the major arcanum, right? Like you see the Star card, she's pouring water into the water and water onto the land. This is nurturing both our masculine and our feminine nature, right? So this is a theme again and again. This is alchemy. This is everything. This is life. This is life right here. Okay? It's about the two forces in union, creating a specific frequency, a specific balance. Okay, so what does it look like if this is the future, kind of what we're stepping into? If we can't even get to this place, if we can't even, and what I mean by that is, if we can't even have something worth celebrating with others, if we don't even know how to love others and be in that group consciousness and support one another, how will we ever be able to be in a romantic relationship, for example? How will we ever be able to look within to our own polarities and feel good about each one of them and feel good about the way that we unify them? If we can't even do this, how will we do this? If we can't even have friends, how will we be lovers? If we can't even be friends with others, that's showing that we're not even friends with ourselves. If we can't be friends with others and be concerned for others and care about their well-being, and not just like a few others, but the whole, the collective, if we can't see in that way, it says a lot about our own inner relationship, the relationship with ourselves. We will not be able to heal that if we can't find friendship and love within the collective. And you'll see that the more you close yourself off from the world, the more you isolate yourself, the more you make it about your smaller self and not the collective, it's reflecting an imbalance within you. It's reflecting this deep need to become friends with yourself again. Okay, so look at the ways in which you're not being a friendly part of a team, or you're not working well together with others, or you're not able to connect heart to heart with others. Start to look at that right now at the time of this full moon. It will reveal so much if you intentionally look for that. And your findings, right, whatever you're able to extract from this reflection should help you develop a deeper connection to your own self, and should allow you to go deeper in one-on-one relationships, whether that's romantic or with your children, with your mother, father, sister, brother, or even maybe somebody you just met recently. If you want to be able to have a more intimate relationship with people one-on-one and a more intimate relationship with yourself, right now is a time to look while the moon is fully lighting up our reality. It's a time to look at the details of your lives and your relationships and ask, where have I not been showing up? Where have I been closed up? How can I open up in a safe space, right? Like in a group setting with friends, with maybe people at work, people in my home, my family. How can I open myself up, open up my heart in these group settings, right? Having multiple people to observe and witness so that you can learn from multiple angles. That's why group can be so powerful. Right? So put yourself in a safe space where you can do that reflecting and learn. And then what you can guarantee is a future where you start to go deeper with your already present relationships, and most importantly, the relationship with yourself. Okay? So what I'm saying is the way that you've been treating everyone around you and your lack of an ability to connect heart to heart is reflecting something about your own inability to connect to your own heart. So start there. Look at what's been going on in your relationships and know that each one of them, especially the one with your own self, will be refined as you do this work in reflecting. Okay, and the ally of the week is the Tav. And remember, it's flipped on the camera, so if you want to see the letter, you can Google Hebrew letter Tav, T-A-V. It's the final letter of the Hebrew alphabet, the very end. And the main thing that comes up is this. Tav is, the hieroglyphic symbol connected to the Tav is a cross, but the original cross, an X, like X marks the spot, right? And the idea of this X marks the spot is that, yes, it's the end, but with every end comes a new beginning, right? The X is kind of like the X that you see in the ribbon on the top of the circle in the world card, aka the universe card, card number 21. You see like the wreath and the X is there, and it's representing the end and the begin again, because the end is implicit in the beginning and the beginning is implicit in the end. So it's this idea of like a never-ending cycle, okay? So the Tav, being our ally for this message we just spoke about, is really saying it's a time right now to remember that nothing's final, We're always going to be refining our experience. So it would be wise to not beat yourself up over your shortcomings, over the stuff that's going to be revealed at this time, right? When you start to reflect on how have I not had an open heart. When that stuff comes up, know that it's all to teach you so that you can move forward eternally. It's never going to actually end. So there's no point in wallowing in your self-pity. There's no point in spending too much time being upset about how closed up you've been. Instead, just open. Just open. And even if you've been closed up, let's say, if your heart's been closed for 20 years, you don't need to now be open for 20 years. It doesn't work like that. The archetypes work outside of time and space. It's about the feeling. It's about the power of the belief of your imagination. So however closed up you've been, it wouldn't be wise to just say, I'm always going to be closed up. There's always what's going to happen. And, no, you have an opportunity right here, right now to open. Right here, right now. And you've been evolving over these years, no doubt. However stuck you've been, we're all evolving. And so you're a new you in this moment right now. You're a new you. So how can you, from this new place, in this fresh moment, declare that you are now open? You are opening. Your heart is opening. It's about the belief and the power of the feeling. So as long as you can, through that power, through that belief, neutralize all the yucky feelings of being closed, you're good to go. Every moment is new. Every moment is new. Every moment has an X marks the spot. Every moment, it's beyond an ending and a beginning. It's eternity. Each moment that you spend present is representing an eternity. Okay, so when you feel like you want to just hate on yourself, you want to be upset about how closed up you've been or how you haven't been showing up in your relationships, remember, it's going to keep going. You'll always have another chance. The Tav is also very much about, it's very much about understanding that we can make as many mistakes as we need to. It's okay. The goal is to obviously not intentionally do your best, right? Do your best, God will do the rest. But the point is, if you're making an honest mistake, if you've made an honest mistake, it's okay. It's a part of the process. Mistakes become blessings in hindsight when we can see it that way. Okay, so that's really the message of the Tav. See what else I have to share about that. I do have a whole class on this letter Tav. It's also connected to card number 22 in the Egyptian tarot, which is known as the materialist, aka the annihilist. And 22 reduces to a 4, right? So that would mean that it's connected to card number 4, the sovereign, aka the emperor, which was representing a form. So 4, form. 22 is the evolution of that form. So it's a new form, okay? That's a lot of, I know that might sound a little crazy, but basically what the message is there is it's saying we will have a new form again and again, a new chance, like a new body, right? New body, new life to do this over again, learn the lessons over again. It's saying that you always have a new chance. You can try as many times as it takes, but try. Do better every time. Do your best until you know better. Then do that. Okay. So know that it's a time of a new beginning, really. And you don't have to make any big decisions yet. You don't have to make any choices just yet. It's just saying, right now is a time to really reflect. At the time of this full moon, look at the ways in which you've had a closed heart. Start to open it up. The more friendly and open you can be in heart and mind, in group settings, with your relationships with your family and friends, just the outside world, the more you'll learn about yourself in ways that will help you to develop a more intimate connection to yourself, therefore leading to a more intimate connection with everyone. Okay. Something that is coming through too, very specifically, I'm just going to share, is if you felt like there has been some end, and this is coming from the ally, if you have felt like there's been some ending in your life lately, right? And we're really focused on relationships here because it's all cups. If you felt like there's some ending, learn from it. How can you extract the endings, or what appear to be endings right now, from your experience and see through the ending to the new beginning? That doesn't necessarily mean that, let's say a relationship ended, it doesn't mean that you can just start it up again. No, it's not about the faces or the names. It's about the energy behind it. We're all one anyway. So for example, if you have a relationship that's ending, how can you see it as a new beginning? Meaning, how can you see it as freeing up energy so that you can refine your character, learn from that relationship, and then pick up where you left off with the next one? Just as an example, okay? But open up your mind and open up your heart. And at this time of the full moon, really sit with it. Don't make any decisions yet, but really sit with the light of this moon and allow it to illuminate all of those things that you thought in your life were endings. How can you see through the ending to a new beginning in some way? How can you see this as a new beginning? That will give you the inspiration to keep going, to move past the pity, the self-pity, the victimization, and start to produce visions for the future that you can work toward here now. So we have two minor arcanum cards in this reading. And if you would like to know more about these archetypes or any of the minor arcanum archetypes, which I think for a lot of people gets complicated once you move past the major archetypes, remember, I've got a book. I wrote a book on the minor arcanum and the way that I see it in particular. This book includes a new way of looking at the elemental suits beyond manipulation, which unfortunately you will find in most modern tarot guides. So if you want to know more about these archetypes, or you want to have the book so that every week you can dive deeper after the activation, please let me know. I'm happy to ship it to you. I always have copies. I'm happy to sign them and include a little special bookmark, as I always do. The first book is on the major arcanum archetypes, the big guys, the big archetypes, and their Hebrew letter correlations. And the second book, again, is on the minor arcanum and the elemental suits, a new way of seeing it. I just think it's awesome to have these books if you've been coming to these activations every week. That way you can go deeper with it yourself. You could go deeper before we even do the activation. You can do your own reading, or you can go deeper afterward, and you can get a little more personal for your own life, because we are solely focusing on the collective here when we do these readings. And also, you guys, the first book, I know a lot of you have been asking what deck would I recommend to work with this book, and you know I always use the Rider-Waite, but I do draw on it. I make changes. The video course that I have on the major arcanum, if you're interested, ask me about it. That video course, each card, for each class, for each major arcanum card, I used both the Brotherhood of Light deck as well as the Rider-Waite deck. And sometimes I even brought in other decks just to show the overall archetypal theme of each card. So with that said, you don't actually need any deck in life, because you are the deck, baby. You are all the cards. They're everywhere. I see in tarot, I don't need cards to do a reading, but they serve as an excellent bridge for communication. But everything is tarot to me. Tarot means royal path. It's just symbolism, and that's the universal language. So especially the first book is written to open up your mind to that concept, to blast open your mind, to be able to see in that way at all times. So you actually don't need a deck of cards at all for this book, or really for the second book, because you could just flip open a page and here we go. I flipped open to the two paths, aka the lovers. And right there, I can just read that chapter, and I've kept it very concise. And each archetype has a few pages about it. And then at the end of the chapter, it gives you the realizations that you should have solidified now that you're activating this archetype. And then at the end of the book, it gives you questions to ask yourself, to go deeper into that self-analysis and self-reflection. So it's basically you could just do a reading with this book. You don't even need a deck of cards. And I have so much more to say about that, but we're coming to a close of the activation here. So please let me know if you're interested in my books. Private message me or email me at info@royalpathtarot.com. Yes, I am doing one-on-one readings still. So if you want to book a session with me, please just reach out and ask me how we can make it happen. Thank you so much for coming every week. For those of you who've been coming, thank you for those who are seeing this for the first time. If you want to give back in some way because you've been appreciating these activations, please feel free to leave a review on my Facebook page, facebook.com/royalpathtarot, or just write it up and send it to me, private message it to me, or email it to me, info@royalpathtarot.com. Or please check out my donation links on my page. I will be sharing them again after this activation. I've got PayPal, Venmo, Cash App, Zelle. I've got all the things. So if you want to give back, any bit counts. I appreciate it so much. Thank you to everybody who's been donating. I'm so grateful. And more than anything, I'm just grateful to meet with you all every single week. If you want to meet more than just once a week, we have 2 private groups on Facebook. One is called the Archetypal Alliance, where we share about stuff like this, archetypal awareness. And the other one is called Shabbat Crew, Shabbat Crew. And it's where we talk about Kabbalah and Jewish mysticism and Shabbat, which I believe is sort of like the original tarot. If you want to know more about that, check out our private group. I've got lots of videos on there. I love you. I'm seeing your comments and all the love. It's so awesome. So good to be a part of this community. This global community, this collective consciousness. Yeah. All right, you guys. So I'll see you on Friday in Shabbat Crew with a video to explain the current Torah story. And then I'll see you for the final quarter so we can wrap up this cycle with another activation. Have a blessed day. Peace.